The alien fleet appeared without a sound. Hundreds of ships shimmered into existence above the blue curve of Earth, their silver hulls reflecting sunlight like blades drawn for battle. They had crossed light years to reach this forgotten world, believing it empty, abandoned after the human collapse centuries ago. Their commander, Admiral Zur, floated inside the main ship's control chamber, eyes glowing faintly with arrogance. Reports from scouts confirmed no major energy signatures on the surface. "So it's true," he said coldly. "The humans are gone. This planet will serve the Empire well." But deep below the clouds, inside the ruins of an old orbital defense station, something stirred. A system long silent woke up with a low hum. A faded logo blinked on the cracked screen. United Human Defense Grid Iron status rebooting. Alarms flickered. Cameras turned toward the sky. For the first time in centuries, Earth was watching again. Admiral Zur ordered the invasion to begin. Small ships broke formation, descending through the atmosphere like metallic comets. They scanned cities covered in vines, oceans thick with silence, and deserts where nothing moved. To them, it was a dead world, until one of the pilots noticed something strange. A transmission frequency, faint but repeating. "Leave orbit immediately. This is your final warning." The pilot laughed and sent the message to the Admiral. "Commander, the ghosts of Earth speak." The Admiral smirked. "Play it," the voice repeated, calm and human. "Leave orbit immediately. This is your final warning." Static followed. "Nothing else," mockery, Zur said. "Destroy the source." The fleet's scanners triangulated the signal. It came from an old bunker near the North American wastelands. Fighters were sent to investigate. The pilots descended through thunder and ash until they found the bunker, half buried, covered in rust, surrounded by nothing but dead earth. One of them laughed again. A warning from dust. He fired a plasma missile. The bunker exploded into flame. For 3 seconds. Then the fire vanished, sucked inward as if the air itself refused to burn. A glowing pattern appeared on the ground, circular, ancient, and terrifyingly human. Suddenly, the pilot's systems went black. Their ships froze mid-air. Control vanished. One by one, the fighters crashed into the ground, their engines silenced. Back in orbit, Admiral Zur watched the chaos through his display. "Report, what happened to Squadron 3? No answer, only static. Then the voice returned, stronger, clearer. "You were warned. You have one chance left. Leave Earth." Every alien on the command deck went silent. Even the background hum of the ship felt colder. "Impossible," Zur muttered. No human system should still function after this long. But the radar suddenly filled with new signals. Unknown ships were rising from the planet's surface. Small at first, then more. Hundreds, thousands each. Carried the same insignia, a white eagle on a black field. The Admiral felt something new for the first time in decades. Fear. He ordered his fleet to defensive position. "Identify those ships." The sensor struggled to read their design. The computer labeled them unidentified, unknown power source. Then another message appeared, forcing itself onto every alien display. "This planet is under human protection. Trespassers will be removed." The alien officers shouted in panic as their systems flickered. Their main battleships began losing power. Shields dropped. Engines faltered. "EMP attack?" Zur barked. "Negative," cried a technician. "No energy spike detected. It's like they're shutting us down remotely." The Admiral clenched his jaw. How could humans have this kind of control? And then, as if answering his question, a massive shadow appeared behind his fleet. A ship, larger than any known in the galaxy, emerged from behind the moon. Its hull was black, its surface scarred, but the letters on its side were still visible. HFY Valiant, human warship, a ship thought destroyed 500 years ago during the fall of Earth. "Contact it," Zur ordered. Before his crew could respond, a new transmission cut across every channel. The voice was cold, human, and alive. "This is Captain Arden of the United Human Ship Valiant. You have violated restricted orbit. You will stand down immediately or be neutralized." The Admiral tried to sound calm. "Captain Arden, the humans are extinct. Identify yourself." There was a pause, then laughter, not cruel but tired. "Extinct? We learned how to survive while your kind was still learning to walk upright. We just stopped talking to the galaxy." A silence hung between them. Even the stars seemed to wait. "Withdraw," Arden continued. "This is your final warning. But Zir was proud and the Empire never backed down. He raised his clawed hand. Open fire. Thousands of plasma cannons ignited. Blue light filled the darkness as the alien fleet unleashed its fury. The Valiant did not move. Every blast vanished before touching its hull, absorbed by an invisible field. The warship's sides began to glow. Arden's voice returned. Warning ignored. And then the stars themselves changed color. Beams of pure white light erupted from the Valiant. Each beam passed through alien ships like smoke, leaving nothing but drifting ash and silence. Dozens of vessels fell apart without sound. Admiral Zir shouted for retreat. Fall back! All ships retreat! But it was too late. Their engines refused to start. Their controls were dead. The human ship glided forward, silent and steady. We gave you your chance, said Arden. Now, you will remember why no one invades Earth. As the alien fleet broke apart, the last surviving cruiser sent one desperate transmission to its homeworld. Contact lost. Earth, not empty. Humans, still here. The transmission ended mid-sentence. In the command deck of the Valiant, Captain Arden stood before a cracked window, watching the burning remains drift away. His uniform was old, his face calm. Beside him, an AI voice spoke. Admiral Zir's flagship has escaped. Shall we pursue? Arden shook his head. No. Let them carry the story back. Fear will do what weapons can't. The AI paused. And the planet? Arden smiled faintly. It sleeps again, until the next fool forgets what we are. Outside, the Earth turned slowly beneath them, scarred but alive, and far away across the stars, the story of the Valiant's return began to spread. News of the defeat spread like a virus through the stars. Whispers filled the dark halls of alien stations. The humans are back. Some laughed in disbelief. Others fell silent, remembering the old stories told to frighten young soldiers. Stories of the Terran Wars, when humans had stood against entire galactic coalitions and survived. In the great capital of the Vern Empire, the High Council gathered in a room of glass and silver. The Emperor's many eyes burned with fury as he stared at the projection of Admiral Zir, who knelt trembling before him. You failed, the Emperor hissed. A dead world defeated a fleet of 50 ships. Explain. Zir's voice shook. It wasn't a world, my lord. It was something else. They called themselves humans, but their power? It's like nothing I've seen. Their ship was ancient but unstoppable. Humans. The Emperor's voice turned to cold amusement. You claim ghosts destroyed your fleet? Zir tried to speak, but the Emperor cut him off. Prepare the Armada. If these ghosts exist, we will burn their planet until not a grain of dust remains. Across the galaxy, thousands of warships began to move. The Imperial Armada, a force so large it could blot out a sun, set its course for Earth. Far away, inside the Valiant, Captain Arden watched the stars in silence. The ship's AI, Eve, glowed softly beside him. They're coming, she said. Long-range sensors detect over 9,000 warships. Arden smiled faintly. Good, let them, Eve hesitated. Our systems are still damaged from the last engagement. The orbital grid is only 30% functional. Doesn't matter, Arden replied. We don't need weapons to win. We need memory. When the alien armada arrived, it filled the solar system like a swarm of fire. Planets vanished behind walls of metal. Every alien commander felt confident. They believed they were about to destroy a myth. Target Earth, ordered Grand Admiral Turox. No mercy. Thousands of energy lances fired at once. Space turned white, but as the beams reached Earth's orbit, they disappeared, swallowed by something unseen. Then the darkness answered. From behind the moon, old satellites reactivated. From Mars, long-forgotten human bases powered up. The outer planets shimmered with artificial lights that hadn't burned for centuries. All across the system, old machines awoke. Human defense systems, built long ago and left in silence, had heard the Valiant signal. The first alien ships began to lose control. Navigation systems went blind. Communication channels filled with human messages, ancient cryptic codes that made alien computers crash instantly. Admiral Turox slammed his fist against the console. What is this interference? A frightened officer answered. It's human data, sir. It's rewriting our systems. And then the message appeared on every screen again. You were warned. Seconds later, Hundreds of orbital defense platforms uncloaked around Earth. They weren't shining or new. They were old, rusted, ancient, but still powerful. They fired as one. Beams of red light cut through the alien armada. Ships exploded like paper in fire. Whole formations vanished before they could respond. Turok screamed, "All ships fire back!" But only half could. The rest were already drifting. Engines dead, weapons offline. AI systems corrupted by human code. Within minutes, what was meant to be the greatest fleet in history became a graveyard of burning metal. Inside the Valiant, Eve monitored the chaos. "They won't stop," she said. "Their homeworld will send more." Arden nodded slowly. "Then we'll remind them why the galaxy feared us." He opened a secure channel, one that reached beyond the solar system, beyond time. "This is Captain Arden of the United Human Ship Valiant. Initiate Project Revenant." Across the stars, something ancient responded. Deep under the surface of Mars, massive vaults opened. Inside them slept thousands of human warships preserved in cryogenic stasis. AI cores flickered to life, reactors rumbled, and engines that hadn't burned for centuries began to glow again. The human fleet rose from its tomb. Every ship bore the same insignia, the White Eagle. They formed up around the Valiant, and for the first time in 500 years, humanity once again had a navy. In the Viren capital, the Emperor received the impossible report. "Our armada is gone." He stood in silence for a long time, his breath shaking. "Then we will bring everything we have," he said. "Prepare the planet cracker weapon." The galaxy shuddered as the Empire's final weapon, a ship the size of a moon, began its journey toward Earth. Back on the Valiant, Eve spoke quietly. "The Empire's flagship is en route. Power levels indicate it could destroy the entire solar system." Arden looked calm. "Then this will be our last stand." Eve tilted her holographic head. "You could still escape," he smiled. "Humans don't run." When the planet cracker arrived, its shadow covered half the stars. The Emperor himself commanded it, his voice echoing across every frequency. "Humans of Earth," he thundered, "you are relics of a forgotten age. Bow before the true masters of the galaxy." Arden replied with a quiet, almost gentle tone. "Masters? You invaded a world that had already forgiven the galaxy, and now you'll learn why that mercy ended." He gave a single command. "Fire the core." The Valiant's hull began to glow with blue light. Symbols of old human science lit up across its surface. Space itself seemed to twist. The Emperor shouted, "What are they doing?" And then, silence. For a heartbeat, everything stopped. Then a pulse of light expanded from Earth, invisible but unstoppable. It passed through ships, planets, and space itself. It didn't explode. It erased. When the light faded, only the Valiant and its fleet remained. The Empire's greatest weapon was gone. No wreckage, no noise, nothing, Eve whispered. "What was that?" Arden answered softly. "Something we built when we still believed the universe would never understand peace. The memory core. It erases everything that tries to destroy us." He looked out at the stars. "And now? It's done." Far away, the surviving fragments of the Empire's communication network picked up the last transmission from the Emperor's ship before it vanished. Human weapon? Cannot comprehend. Entire fleet gone. Then silence forever. Weeks later, the human fleet drifted quietly above Earth. The planet still slept below, green and blue. Eve broke the silence. "The galaxy will fear us again." Arden shook his head. "Fear is not what we want. Let them remember respect." She looked at him. "And what if they forget again?" Arden smiled faintly. "Then we'll remind them, just once more." Years passed. Across the galaxy, new civilizations rose, and stories spread in whispers. They say there's a dead world protected by ghosts. They say a single human ship can erase entire fleets. They say the last warning still echoes in space. Children grew up hearing those tales. Soldiers prayed never to face them. And in the darkness between stars, the old Valiant continued to patrol, silent, patient, eternal. Its message still traveled across space, repeating forever in a calm human voice. "Leave orbit immediately. This is your final warning."